Hello and welcome to another Whiteboard Sessions with me, Andrew Maff. I am the CEO and founder of BlueTuskr, a full-service digital marketing company for e-commerce sellers. And today I'm going to go through the perfect process for growing your Instagram account for e-commerce sellers. So I'm going to go into process and how we kind of go through reviewing things and going over reporting, analytics, and all that fun stuff. I'm not going to get into creative. I'm not going to get into what to post and why to post it. That's going to really come down to your specific product line, a lot of different information. We're going to have to do another video. So today what I'm going to go through is I'm just going to go through the exact process that we do here at BlueTuskr that has worked for me for years on how to grow an e-commerce Instagram account, specifically just through process. So first thing I'm going to dive into is how often to post. So posting is a little bit interesting. So this kind of all depends on 3 to 5 times a week is what I usually say. And this kind of all depends on where you're at with your business. If you've cleared 40, 50,000 followers, then that's going to be a little bit different. You might want to post more often depending on what it is you're posting, or you might even want to post less often. But if you're simply focused on advertising and that's really all you care about right now for whatever reason, then you still need to be doing this because you need to have some kind of appearance on your Instagram profile. There's a lot of people that will see an ad on Instagram, will click over to the profile to do their own due diligence and then find out that you haven't posted in months or that maybe you haven't posted at all and they're going to think that it's a scam. They won't want to work with you. So by not having posts on your own profile, you'll actually end up having an issue where you might have really poorly performing ads. So at a bare minimum, we usually suggest posting 3 to 5 times a week. This can be anything from regular images to video to carousels, whatever you want. Now, this is also something where we'll say like, you're going to want to space it out. It's going to, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday or something like that. But this is really going to be the key to making sure that your profile is staying active. And of course, outside of that, the other thing you have to think about is how often you're posting stories, right? So stories, again, even though you're just doing ads, or even if you actually are trying to grow your profile here, you're going to want to do stories daily. So the reason we say daily is because if you notice when you go on an Instagram profile or you go onto Instagram itself, you'll actually see the stories are up at the top and then you have the feed underneath it. And because the stories are all highlighted and things like that, it's usually the first place that people go. And the reason that that's been proven is obviously because of things like TikTok and how they trigger Reels, because that's obviously what people are catering to. So by posting in stories daily, you'll actually be able to make sure that you're always being seen by your customer base. So we're already looking at 3 to 5 regular posts a week. You're looking at posting stories daily. And this is really just to make sure that you have some kind of content going out on the platform. Now, we're going to talk about how to scale this and how to actually start to grow followers. This is really just showcasing your brand and how awesome you are, right? There's nothing about how to get people to come see this. So the very first thing we're going to talk about is hashtags. So hashtags are interesting because we usually say to try to use one in a story, but in posts, that's where they get used a lot more. And honestly, this can kind of come down to what works with your profile, how big your follower base is already. There's a lot of different things that kind of come into there. But we always say anywhere from 5 to 15 hashtags per post. Now, like I said, there's a caveat to this, and it all depends. If you have a really large following, we'll get to a point where we even tell you that don't use hashtags. You don't need them. Or we'll get to a point where even if you're really new, overusing hashtags can actually cause your profile to not reach as much. So there's a lot of stuff with hashtags, and we're going to do hashtag research on another video where we kind of go through how we figure out which hashtags to use. But the easiest thing that I can tell you that's overarching for everything is always have some kind of branded hashtag or a hashtag that is relevant to your product line. So probably still theoretically branded, just not your actual brand name. But then start low and slowly work your way up and then test and see what works. Start with 5, maybe next do 6 and 7 and 8 and just see what's working best for you. But the other thing to think about is that if you overuse hashtags, so if you use the same ones over and over for every post, so let's say you decide to use 8 hashtags to start with, and you post, 3 to 5 times a week, but all you do is copy and paste those 8 hashtags over to those posts. Instagram will actually start to show you less and less because they're going to see that as spammy and it's not original enough. They want clear, new, free, fresh stuff. So what we always suggest is using those top branded hashtags and then making sure the other hashtags, while you still want them to be relevant to whatever your product line is, you also want them to be relevant to whatever your content is. So whether it's a picture or video, you're going to want to use some hashtags that are relevant to what you posted. So think about hashtags as tagging your post into a certain category, right? So you're obviously going to want it to categorize as your brand. You're going to want to categorize it as whatever your product line is, maybe a couple other things that are relevant to community. But then it's going to be like, hey, there's a dog in this. Hey, there's a cat in this. And then cats of Instagram or something along those lines. Don't use that high one. You want to find some that have a couple that have really high search volume, a good amount that has like a medium amount of search volume, and then a really good amount of ones that have like a lower search amount of volume. Because if you do like hashtag love, hashtag friends, hashtag cats, you won't show it all because Instagram's going to know that you're spamming it. So you really have the placement of hashtags is really important, but we're going to have to do that on another video. So the other thing is this is all showcasing your brand, right? This is kind of getting people to find the stuff that you're showcasing, right? So then the other stuff we're going to want to do is how else can we promote our own stuff, right? So on stories, what we always suggest is to do the new post story. So essentially, as soon as you post something that day, reshare it as a story and use like one of those new post GIFs or something like that. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking your story and you're driving a bit more traffic to the post itself. And the reason that can help is because you're actually doubling up on engagement. So you're going to get someone who clicks on a story, so now they've engaged with it, and then hopefully they'll comment or something on your post, so then they've engaged with that too. And the more you can get people to engage with your stories, the better your posts will do. So if you actually start to have stories that are very engaging, so you have ones that have the ranking on it, or you have the voting one where you can say yes or no, or however you want to do voting, or if you have one where it just automatically DMs you or something along those lines, those are all engaging. So if I'm continuously engaging with your story, you're actually going to start to see the company's posts more often. So let's say I engage with your story more often, I'll start to see your posts more often. The reason is that Instagram now believes that I'm really interested in your content, so it's going to show me more and more of your content. So making sure that you have engaging stories and engaging posts can really start to move you up the algorithm. So outside of that, this is all now, come see me, come talk to me, come to me, right? That's not how Instagram works. This is where everyone goes wrong. I know so many sellers who will do this for months and months on end and end up with a couple hundred followers, and they'll be like, Instagram doesn't work for me, and they'll give up and they'll throw their hands down, they'll get all cranky. That's because you're doing it wrong. This is like if you went to a party and you wore your nicest stuff, you put out the best content, so you look really nice, and then you stood in a corner and you looked kind of scary because no one's really gone up to you, and you're kind of pissed because no one's come up to you. No one's going to come up to you. So what has to happen is you have to focus on outreach. So this is taking the time to use the platform. Just posting isn't using the platform. Using the platform is being social. It's a social media network. So you have to go out and engage with other profiles. So one of the things that we do is on a daily basis for 1 hour a day, we have what we refer to as community managers who go out and will actually comment on other people's posts, or they'll like their pictures, or both. And what will happen is we'll do our hashtag research on what hashtags do we want to engage with, or we'll find competitors' profiles, and then we'll go over to the profile of the people that have commented on our competitors' profiles. So basically what's happening is we're engaging with people that we know might be interested in our product line. Now, we're not going out there and saying like, hey, really cool picture of a cat, you should consider buying our beef jerky. Like, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're just engaging with them. Hey, we love this picture of your cat. It's adorable. I don't sell anything for cats. That's not what I'm talking about. The point is, I know that you're a potential member of our community, and I know that you're interested in what we have to sell. All I need you to do is know that we exist. So what I'm doing is I'm going to their page. I'm just commenting. I'm being super nice. I'm just engaging with them. And what's going to happen is they're going to obviously get a notification. They're going to be wondering who you are. And they're going to click over to your profile. And that's where, as long as this stuff looks good, then they're going to start to talk to you. So let's go back to the party analogy, right? Now I'm going over to other people. I'm introducing myself, and I'm not talking about myself. I'm not walking up to them and going, hey, I work in marketing and we should work together. And they're just sitting here like, screw you. I'm going to party. I'm just trying to get drunk. So totally not the case. What we're doing is we're going out and we're talking to people and we're going, hey, what do you do? That's really cool. Oh, you like to drink. What are you drinking? So you're asking people questions about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. Social media is the exact same way. So by going out and engaging with them, they'll engage with you back and they'll come back to you. So lost my spot. Where are we at? Oh, so this is basically the line for the most part of where we have our community managers versus our social media managers. And the other thing our community manager is going to do is make sure that we're responding to everything, right? So we're going to respond to, we'll do it. That's not an infinity sign. There we go. So respond to everything, right? So any DMs that we get, any comments that we get on any of our posts, anything at all, we always want to make sure that we're responding to everything. Because basically what's happening is they're engaging with us, and we want to thank them for engaging with us. People want to know that they're being heard. So let's go back to that party analogy. You walk up to someone, you talk to them, you go, hey, what do you do? And then they start to tell you. That's where you start to say, oh, that's really interesting. Tell me more about that, right? So now they're like, wow, this guy's really interested in me. So you're continuously talking to him. It's the same concept on Instagram. So if we had a comment on one of our posts or someone DM'd us, we want to respond. Not only do we want to respond thanking them for commenting or anything along those lines, we want to respond and like try to continue the conversation. Because the other thing that's going to happen is as people come by your post on your feed, as it starts to get further and further up the algorithm, they're going to see all of your comments that you've made to other people and all the comments that they've made get combined. So it ends up looking like you have hundreds or thousands of comments when in reality you've just responded to 15 or 20 people and that's about it. So by doing that, you're continuously growing engagement. You're continuously growing the numbers per post. And it's making the post look better, which is getting you even more engagement that way. The next thing that we always do, and especially on the e-commerce side, right? So many agencies will go out there and they'll tell you Instagram's not really about sales. It's about brand awareness. Accurate, but not. Instagram's got some great bells and whistles on getting some actual sales. So the other thing you got to think about is make sure to always go back and tag your products. Now, this actually might not be necessary for everyone. The reason we have to do it is because as an agency, so we use Sprout Social internally, and they're not paying me to say that. You can use any of them. For an agency, I think it's great. For in-house, I think it's a little overkill. And they don't really have a great way of tagging products on Instagram. So we always have the community manager check daily that the most recent post has your product tagged in it, right? If you're able to do it through Creator Studio or you're able to do it through any other platform, just always make sure that you're tagging your products, because that's how, if you can get one of these posts to do really well, they can click and they can go and they can actually make a purchase. So it's a great way to actually get some conversion and focus on conversion as opposed to just focusing on brand awareness. The other thing is, even when you're responding to your own comments, you're responding to your own DMs, that's all within your own profile. Make sure to also go out and thank people who may have tagged you, right? So let's say thank tags, I guess. Sure. So sometimes people will post a picture of your product or they'll share a story of your product or something along those lines, in which case you're going to want to go and thank them for doing that. So by acknowledging that you appreciate them tagging it, they're much, much more likely to actually go and tag it again and consistently post you, especially if you end up sharing some kind of UGC over here, sharing as a story and saying like, hey, big thanks to Cheryl for sharing our picture. In which case Cheryl's now going to post all the time and tag you as much as possible because everyone likes the clout. So now this is all like overarching, what can we do day to day, but how do we improve, right? How do we optimize? So on a monthly basis, what we always suggest doing is, I don't even know why I write this stuff. What we always suggest doing is to review everything that we've said here, right? So we're going to review several things. We're going to review the content that was posted. We're going to review the day, the time, and the outreach. Duh. I knew I was going to forget one. All right, so what we have here is we're going to review these four things. The outreach is going to be, how many comments on a daily basis did you make? How many likes did you make on a daily basis? Okay, great. when you did a 70-30 split, we seem to do well. So going forward for the next month, I want you to do 70% comments, 30% likes, right? Time. What time of day did we post? We tested noon, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Some of the platforms will tell you what they think. Okay, which one worked best? Great, let's do that one. All right, what days did we post? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday worked the best for us. Great. For the next month, post during those times, post on those days. Okay, we did still images, we did video, we did carousels, we did all this different stuff. Which one worked the best? Okay, video and carousel worked the best. Fantastic. Don't just do video and carousel. You know those are the top two for you, but favor them. So, okay, in the next month when we schedule stuff, let's do more video, more carousels, and then just sprinkle in a couple single images. So that's how we kind of start to look into, okay, how can we adjust for the next month? And the reason we always do like a month at a time is because you have holidays that show up, you have content you kind of want to test. You have some holidays where you had to like do a discount kind of thing. Maybe you're doing a sale or a promotion, any kind of campaign that you had to shove in there. So there's always kind of one-off thing. So we try to get enough data to really make a sound decision. It makes it easier and easier and easier as time goes on because your follower base starts to grow and the data that you're getting is really good every time you post something because you're getting a lot more numbers as opposed to if you're starting off and you're just trying to grow here. So this entire process is the exact perfect process that we've had that really starts to develop that snowball effect. It takes time. This isn't something that's going to just all of a sudden start working. It's something that you have to commit to and you have to continuously do for months before you can start to grow, unless you get lucky and you hit some kind of viral post, which can sometimes happen. But this is the exact e-commerce process that we use to grow an e-commerce, an Instagram account. And we've seen it work basically time and time again. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment in obviously the comments below. Rate, review, subscribe. If there's a video specifically that you want us to do, feel free to comment, let us know. We're always happy to do them. Or if you think we're missing something, let us know. And I love redoing videos. If I found out I missed something, I'll give you a shout out too. But otherwise, make sure you subscribe because we release these every Monday, and I will see you all next time.